Okay, my name is Muniz, like I just said, and I'm a second-year environmental science and psychology and social behavior major. And as you're well aware, I'm running for external vice president, which, if you're not aware, it's essentially the point of contact between Fusion, so everything within Fusion, and every relevant organization outside of Fusion, whether it be academic or cultural. Now, as many of you have noticed by now, I am neither a Filipino nor an engineer.
Yeah.
So, it's very acceptable for you to be wondering, why should I elect this guy to be running that kind of stuff? Well, although I will admit that is a bit of a weakness of mine at the moment. Alright, I will also say this. The point of an external vice president isn't merely just to talk to the other groups, because it's definitely one thing just to be able to talk. It's another thing to be able to communicate. Because when you talk, you're just saying words. But when you communicate, you're conveying feelings, emotions, messages. And luckily, that's something I feel that I'm able to do. Much as I'm communicating with all of you right now, I feel like in the future I would be able to do that, whether it be with Alianza, the Engineering Student Council, or FASAI. Now, okay, so like I said, although I may not seem like the perfect model for the choice of this position, I feel that my time here as Fusion, which oddly enough just kind of came about to me through a friend asking me to come join a meeting with him, I felt like this is really a place that I want to be more involved in, that I've become more involved in. Just, even though I may not be the same background or the same academic major as everyone, I feel like I've really bonded with a lot of you, and I want to take this and continue and bond with the other organizations that help everyone out here. How much more time do I have?
You got 37 seconds.
37 seconds. Okay, now with this time, I'd like to just throw out my middle name, Muniz. I've run through everything I had to say, and like I said, my name is Muniz, and I thank you for your time.
Questions for this guy?
Can you describe your current relationship with Alianza right now?
Oh, that's a great question. I have no relationship with Alianza. But I don't feel that that's a problem, because even though before last quarter I had no relationship with Fusion, I feel as though it's very much come about in a very positive light for me. And I feel that because Fusion's been so welcoming to me, I feel Alianza and all the sub-organizations within it will be as welcoming.
Andre.
How would you overcome the social and cultural barriers and the academic barriers of not being Filipino or an engineer to become an effective external vice president?
Alright, I'll start off with cultural first. I personally love to learn, and whether it be about a certain subject or just another culture, because I feel it's important to be well versed in all sorts of things. So I had a great experience at Packing last week. It was last week, right? Yes, it was. Yes. Wonderful, and oddly enough, I saw a lot of parallels within the skits and the dances and all the activities they did with my own culture as a Mexican. So, I mean, the connections I saw just really made me want to become more involved with Alianza as a whole, whether it be through this position or just as a member. Oh, and then academics. Well, because my job would be to keep this club informed, I don't feel that not being an engineer is going to be much of a hamper for me, because I just have to make sure you guys know what's going on in the engineering world. I can do that.
Any questions? Raul? Francis?
So, the position of external vice president, it effectively took on the two vice presidencies this year.
and I know that. So that was basically just a merger, but there is also the fact that it is two positions now. How are you prepared to take on the workload of just making sure you're able to communicate effectively with two pretty big umbrella organizations effectively?
Well, honestly, the only thing I'm going to be able to do is just go out there and try to reach out to whichever group I'm dealing with at that moment and hope for the best and hope that they reciprocate what I'm trying to send out.
And just a follow-up question: do you feel that your inexperience with Alianza and engineering and the engineering community will detract from any efforts that you put towards communicating with them?
Oh, it'll definitely detract. Just, I'm going to be abundantly honest with all of you. It'll definitely detract. But I feel that once I overcome those barriers, those initial barriers of, oh, this guy's different, you know, he doesn't understand everything quite the same as we do, then I feel that once I've overcome that point, everything should be fine.
And sorry, Francis, that's all the time we have today. Can you please give this guy a round of applause?